do a try on haul. It's been a little bit, you know, busy. I've been hopping on this app and that app and trying to get things done. How is your Memorial Day going? You know, was trying on one of my regional accents earlier, but what we have on our face, of course, we started with our mineral water cooling spray, and then we added some blurring products. Then we got into that same combination that we were rocking with yesterday, which ended up being underpainting with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish in the shade Light Beige, right? And then we also used one of our darker shades from LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is the shade Truffle, to create dimension on the face and contour. Got that on. And then we went in with our L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum in the shade 6-7 Tan, and kind of blended those edges together so that we're, you know, having this unified, hopefully unified looking face. We also added this Milani cream blush in the shade, it's the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blush in I Cherish You shade 150. That's where we are. And we had taken our hydrating concealer from e.l.f. across the lids, so we are primed, perhaps with a lot of layers of that. But look at this. Batman, Makeup Revolution London. I think the title is, It's Not Who I Am Underneath, but What I Do That Defines Me. What a powerful statement. That, I guess, is the title of the palette, but it has these most delicious shades of chocolate and gold and yellow in here. You know, we got our mind blown yesterday by that Coming to America palette from Uoma. And today we're gonna try to get into something exciting with this Revolution London palette. You know, I've never been disappointed by Revolution London's palettes. I think that, you know, again, it's like reading books. We're trying to get to know the color story. We're trying to, you know, sort of be educated on what kind of look we can achieve with every palette that we have. We've only had a couple of duds where it just felt like it's never going to work out. It's always going to be, you know, not flattering, not cute. I wonder if you're also not being able to see me properly because of backlighting. Let's see. Is that better? Does that get us closer to achieving a beauty look that, you know, you can actually see what's going on my face? I hope so. Is this too much glare? Is it not enough? It's always a struggle. Maybe that's okay. All right, here we go. So just employing our tiny scissors, this little tape. I mean, it's reassuring to know that there are little pieces of tape kind of keeping stray fingers out of your palettes. Anyone who shops at stores like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, but even the higher end stores like Ulta and Sephora, you know, for some reason, you know, people like to test products that aren't testers. Can I get a witness on that? You know, for a while during quarantine, there was some website where people were reselling used makeup, and, you know, to kind of entertain myself, I would go on and make little wish lists of high-end makeup, but I could never really see purchasing them, although they promised that they were sanitized. Is that a real thing? Especially during, you know, the height of the global panini, which, you know, honestly, it seems like we're back into a height of the global panini. No one's really talking about it, but if we look at the statistics on infections and all of that, blah, 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 I know we're here to do makeup. But look at these shade names. How exciting, right? If we just put our little condom back over our shades, right? This upper corner, upper left corner chocolatey shade is dark. Then below that is Gotham, and then Hero. And then in the center, this very interesting Black and yellow shimmer is night. The center shade, the yellow, is city. Fear is the black. Mr. Wayne is this caramel color here. Above that is Batman, which is more of a gold shimmer. And then the upper right is Vengeance, that looks like a dark brown or purple. Be very curious to see what that looks like on the eye. But, you know, I love taking a moment to really concentrate on our eye and, you know, creating a strong look and a look that kind of, you know, creates some real a real powerful look. So you're not thinking that this is every single, you know, sort of neutral matte palette that you've ever seen. But what should our transition shade be? I tend to work light to dark. So just starting out with this palette, if we get into this kind of like, it's almost like a flesh colored shade, and get that on our new Ioni shadow brush, right? Looking into it's a nice palette. It comes with its own little mirror. And then just kind of stamping that from the outermost edge into the innermost edge of our eye. It is a really nice color that it looks so natural, but just a little bit lifted, a little bit more terracotta than our actual skin tone. I hope that you're able to see that properly on the eye. You know, not a lot of fallout, but, you know, we're trying to be careful. We get so distracted by our complexion products that we don't do what we should do, which is put our eyeshadow on first. You know, we did a lot of yapping it up on a few different platforms today. And this brush is nice. It's a cheap brush, but I'm learning a lot about the shape of brushes in terms of what I want them to achieve, right? You just want to kind of quickly lay down that base shade and make sure that you're having a lifted shape that reaches out toward the tail end of the brow, right? Perhaps a little bit beyond it. Other side, looking straight on into your mirror, just tapping, right? What we've put into that eye area has been the e.l.f. hydrating concealer in the shade, what is it, light beige, yeah? And we're using that as a eyeshadow base, and it came out really nicely yesterday. We have been messing with some proper eyeshadow primers and bases and different things, but I do like the kind of like way that this concealer kind of glides on and creates a visual base that feels very smooth, right? Smoother than, I confess, a lot of the eyeshadow primers proper did not, right? Without being a weird color. But we did actually put some, what was left over of our contouring concealer from LA Girl in Truffle. And we also put a bit of our cheek, forehead, nose, and chin blush from Milani also into that eye area, just to create some visual unity, right? So it's not like just like colors come from left field and land on our lids, but they kind of should look a little bit native to our face, right? So just shutting the eye and making sure that we've taken that transition shade across the crease to an extent. You know, I like a lot of shadow above the eye, and I'm learning to love a shadow that extends out, kind of just kissing the temple area, right? But I think that when we're shading our eye area, right, it's not enough to just think about creating shadow in the crease, right? Just think about, and you can feel it, your brow bone, right? It's almost like you're using color to emphasize that brow bone, right? Your crease is under that brow bone, but this transition shade, I do feel like it reinforces the structure of your brow bone, and everyone has one, but it can be very flattering, and I think that's why there's a real tendency to either with a graphic line or with your shadow to try to trace that bone and then lift it, right? And a lot of people are doing some stylized shadow that, you know, draws a much more powerful graphic line. If you want, you can pinch the brush and take whatever is left on your brush underneath the eye. You know, I do see a lot of people lining the waterline. I do see some people doing a lot of shadow under the eye. It's not my favorite thing to do, but we'll see where we get today. So if that is an able application of our transition shade, and you see that what looked like a kind of beigey tone here, it translates on my eye as a pale terracotta. So that is what happens when the shadow mixes with your skin tone. So from here, we want to take some sort of brush, right? It doesn't have to be super dense or super precise, but something with some flex. And I've been experimenting in the mornings with eyeshadow before I go to the gym, just to see what it looks like on the skin before I get on camera. So just taking this is another kind of dollar store brush, a brand Vivace. Is it Vivace? Is it Vivace? I can't tell you, but this is the shape. And then wanting to do a deeper tone for the outer corner. Not black, but maybe what could be brown and what could be purple. What do you think it's gonna be? Well, let's get our brush in and see what's what. Right? Just what's cute is that a lot of these shadows are embossed with the little Batman shape. So are you a big fan of Batman or Superman or any of the standard superheroes? You know, I have to confess that I'm more of an X-Men fan than a Batman, but I have enjoyed a lot of the different Batman movies. And, you know, I was having a talk at work on the set of a kind of like 70s period piece about, you know, what good actors are in the Batman series, in particular Danny DeVito as the Penguin, you know, Heath Ledger, of course, you know, so many great people, Tom Hardy as Bane. You know, there's just such an opportunity to kind of make your mark as an actor with a really, you know, interesting portrayal. And we were kind of discussing the different Jokers presented by uh, Jared Leto versus Joaquin Phoenix. And of course, I'm a Joaquin Phoenix fan. We were talking about Morbius. Have you seen any of these, you know, recent installments? Now look at that. Look at that brownish purple. Is it brown? Is it purple? It's almost the color of a bruise, right? And just making sure that that shape is lifted and that we're hugging that outer corner. Again, we're not covering up or just drawing a big old crazy shape. We're reinforcing the architecture of the eye, right? If you were going to work, if you were going to dinner, this would be a respectable way to apply eyeshadow, right? And these tones that are very interesting, maybe these are the more conservative browns and whatnot. We can also pinch this brush with our long artificial nails and take this color underneath the outside third of the eye, right? So even if we're not creating a liner, we are emphasizing our eye with this very clever arrangement of shadows, right? We're letting that terracotta peep from underneath that brown. We're checking our mirror, and then we're thinking about our inner corner. Now, we haven't gotten into this exciting yellow. Would it be too much to try to take some sort of pencil brush and lay down that yellow in some strategic way, right? We know we want some inner corner shimmer. So should we take this pencil brush, get it in that yellow, and then make this some sort of emphasis, right? Should it be on the lid? Perhaps it should, right? If we make this kind of the center of a halo eye type shape, right? We haven't put dark in the inner corner because of course we have deep set or hooded eyes, but I just wanted to take an opportunity and add that yellow in, even if it gets kind of overwhelmed by the depth of the other shades or the shimmer that we're going to lay down in just a second, right? But, you know, people have been talking about yellow as a blush color even, and that seems so crazy. There's even been a gimmicky discussion of black blush, but the blush when applied actually looks purple. So it's more gimmicky. If you really did want to lay down a black blush, you could certainly use, there's a black in this palette, you could certainly do it, but you know, I don't know how you feel, but I certainly get tired when people are clickbaiting these very compelling ideas, but then it just turns out to be fraudulent. I just get it kind of like, okay. So using the same brush, because this is a pointy like pencil brush, we could just kiss into the corner of that black and then just get a little bit under the corner of our eye and then extend that up just to suggest a wing, right? Some depth at that outer corner, maybe kissing the lash line on top, not too thick, not too crazy, and just a subtle wing, maybe just slightly longer than an actual eyelash, just to give us a little bit more emphasis at that outer corner. We're not wanting to draw a big crazy shape. I've seen a lot of exciting graphic shadow and liner and all of that. It seems very festival appropriate, but it doesn't necessarily seem everyday wearable, right? We're not trying to do any like cosplay or fantasy. We're just trying to get on a credible amount of makeup so that maybe we can do our try on haul and maybe we can do, you know, just something that looks sophisticated and like we know how to do our makeup, right? So from here, just a little kiss of black and then a very able and credible application of shadow. Is it time for a shimmer? I think it is. Is this too much light? Maybe that's too little light, right? This backlighting is tough. I feel like my lighting works out much better at night when I don't have that. So, should we recycle a brush or go for a new brush? We're not afraid of these tones, but let's go for it. So, what's our inner corner shimmer color? Is it going to be this kind of grayish it's almost like a black, yellow, gold. This one is gold and this one is red. So let's go for the gold, right? This was our outer corner brown. Maybe, should we clean off the brush on our little brush cleaner just so that we don't muddy up our shimmer color? I confess I keep breaking my nails and then I just take glue and I glue them back on. What's great about this kind of nail as opposed to real acrylics is when you break them, it does not break your nail underneath. That glue gives and lets you have your, you know, nail health and your nail bed so that you're not in a place of pain or damage, right? Once you use acrylic, we're just cleaning our brush on this Daiso dry cleaner, makeup brush dry cleaner, and it does seem to work really well. This little pad you can take out and wash, and then it has these little scratchy areas to the side where you can just give yourself a second chance at using a brush so you don't have to wash in the middle. You never want to use a wet brush with eyeshadow because you'll make a really muddy little mess. Brush in hand, that's the shape, right? That signal is in the air, and then we're gonna kiss into this gold. Get it on our brush, praying for no fallout, looking into our mirror. And let's try to just keep it to the lid, the inner corner of the lid. I have a tendency to want to bring my shimmer high, and I'm thinking maybe I need to just keep it very concentrated. Maybe it's kissing that inner corner, and then it's getting into that crease. But it really is just adding interest right there without it being all across the inner corner up to the brow, right? I would make an arc that was a bit bigger than this, but this may be, in fact, enough. Enough for emphasis, enough for drama, and enough that we can like stroke it and blend it into place without it overwhelming the shadow look altogether. Other side. Get it on our brush. I don't mind this shadow without the shimmer. How about that? Because we, by default, kind of have lighter areas in our inner corner, and we haven't tended to cut the crease, right? I'd almost rather leave the area kind of bare and pale with our transition color in play than to go in and add another layer with concealer, right? Maybe we'll get there at one point where we'll want to do all that, right? But that's a very traditional application. Now, I promised in the title of this video. So that's our Revolution London, Makeup Revolution London, Batman, It's Not Who I Am underneath, but what I do that defines me palette. I likey, right? Cheeks are blushed. Are we achieving balance? It seems like we need some sort of lip color. Now, should we risk it all, right? We're 21 minutes into our live, but we have a whole host of graphic liners from our friend Doja Cat. If we could but locate them. Here they are, right? She has made graphic liners in a series of colors. There's a white, there's a blue, there's a burnt orange liquid eyeshadow, right? Liquid eyeshadow in orange is calling to me, but you know, there's a whole host of colors that let you do what the TikTokers do and kind of paint a line and then shade that line. But let's see what liquid eyeshadow in orange has to say, right? Maybe we should not put the applicator on our eyes, but really try to use some sort of brush to get into it. Why not? And then we can go in with a lip color. Now, look at this. Shimmery, right? We've already laid in a gold. We haven't lined our eyes, but maybe there's a place for this orange shade, right? Is it creating a graphic eyeliner? We can at least try it, right? We don't have to ruin our shadow, but I think that we have an opportunity to do something cool, right? Here is a very flexible Jana K made in Italy brush, right? I kind of want to wet it. I don't know if I should. Let's open up this liquid liner. Our friend Doja Cat, she has created a palette full of cool tone shadows that I have not been able to get my hands on. So getting a bit of this in our dish and then putting, you know, it's a shimmery orange. Have you heard about what's been going on with the Euphoria cosmetics line? You know, the makeup artist was indulged to create her own makeup line, right? With the name of the show on it. So who owns that, right? It's very interesting that it was allowed officially because people are calling it the Euphoria makeup line. Is it the Euphoria line or is it the makeup artist? That's a pretty sweet deal to be able to, you know, put your name and kind of own the profits from a project with a high profile and high profile stars like that. That actually looks incredibly pretty. It could, I'm glad I didn't wet the brush, right? It is very pigmented, but it also seems to work well with the tones of the shadow, right? I'm always getting into making a long wing, even though I think a short wing would look more natural, but maybe when you're using a shimmery liner, you're not really looking to go for a natural look. So we've built a line on top of our black shadow wing. And we're just trying to extend that across the lid. And it's a little tougher on this side. Do we do inner corner flick? It's risky, but we're going for it, right? We put a good dab of this liquid shadow. Liquid shadow. It's not liner, but imagine the possibilities, right? You always want your inner corner flick to extend out from your upper lash line, right? And just look how that gives you emphasis and prettiness. It's almost like the orange shimmer shade evokes copper, right? Maybe sharpening up the tip of that liner, creating a little bit more weight just at the outer corner of the eye, right? Keeping your liner straight so that it respects the hood of the hooded eye, but you're getting nice color payoff and nice saturation. And in as much as we're dragging this line, it almost sort of requires more of a stamp to get the weight of that color to be right. I think this looks flashy. I think it looks sophisticated. I don't know if I would have made the wing this long if I had known what this was going to look like. But it is truly orange, but in a really pretty kind of copper fashion, right? So our lids are looking like money. We are looking like extra sophisticated, and you know, with that very powerful shimmer. Now I almost wish I had a coppery lip color. I would be a bit shy about putting this color on my lips. Should we try it? Is that is that poor form? We do have a good bit left on our brush. Let's risk it all, right? Because it just feels like this color, right, and the shimmer of it is so nice, right? If we get that onto our lips, kind of knowing if it's dangerous, we're going to take it right off, right? I'm never sure, like people have said, if something is good for your lip, I guess you can use it on your eye, but if you can use it on your eye, can you use it on your lip? I'm a little unclear. So, you know, we're just doing this for the art. But it is a really pretty, it's interesting they call it orange, liquid orange. They don't call it copper. I don't dislike at all. This is, I'm really, you know, every time I try a new product from Doja Cat's BH Cosmetics line, I'm enchanted, right? It's not something I've seen before. It's not something that's been done to death. And, you know, similarly about that Batman palette, it's not a color story that, you know, I would say, oh, I've seen that a million times from a bunch of different companies, right? If you like the person, I feel like you let them get away with having yet another neutral palette. But I feel like there's something very compelling about people who come into the beauty space and do something unique and special. I'm sorry, I'm searching around for this lip glass. So maybe I can stretch this, eyeliner that I've put on my lips, if I can find my little dish. I'm sorry, I'm like getting really hungry. I should stop and like, I literally want to like order a burger because I saw someone in a video eating a burger earlier. So just getting a little tiny kiss of this lip gloss into our dish, right? And wanting to just maximize the impact of this. Oh, forgive the dog outside. You know, it's a holiday weekend. Everyone's home. You know, there's a lot of chaos. Last night it was car alarms. Today it's, you know, doggy's going crazy. Does someone have a kielbasa or something? What's happening? So just wanting to get this in the center of the lip, just to create some enticing shimmer and shine. But, you know, as amazing as this shimmer is, the color is not inappropriate given our skin tone. It really is very, very flattering. And, you know, I can't say, oh, I assume that Doja Cat's makeup line would be great for me. I think she's a bit paler than I am. Am I wrong? But I really respect how interesting her makeup and hair and dance, you know, sort of visuals are. I really feel like she is giving us complete artist with a point of view and a style that, you know, isn't just generic. It's interesting. Some of the other artists who aren't as good of dancers and who, you know, are much more traditional in their style of dress and their stage outfits, that, you know, they're okay. They're great. I love their music, you know, really unique voices and all of that. But I feel like the level of creativity and imagination that you get with Doja Cat is next level. You know, there are, you know, several other artists that have the same kind of level of development, right? It's really such a treat. And, you know, again, this the box for this product, which is so pretty, it's again the shade Burnt Orange liquid eyeshadow. Elevate your eye looks to the galaxy and beyond with Cascade liquid eyeshadow in Burnt Orange. Burnt Orange. Glide the doe foot applicator directly over the eyelid for long-lasting color that dries down quickly and comfortably. So just the idea that you could do a shade like this in your, you know, the outer V, I think that would be very appropriate. And it seems to, you know, tone-wise marry well with other kind of like autumn inspired shades. And just looking at this eyeshadow look more closely, right? It could be a sharper lifted eyeliner, right? It got a little thick on the end. It perhaps is a lower angle here and a higher angle there, but the tone of that kind of burnt orange, shimmery copper with that little kiss of gold in the center, I just think it looks really beautiful. I am not mad at all at this look. You know, symmetry is something I could improve that, but I don't hate this as like as a lip color, right? I don't hate the way that we've extended our eye kind of toward where that brow is headed. And I must confess that I did get a good amount of this Got To Be hair gel in my brows while I was doing my other social media. Where did I put the Got To Be gel? It's gone walkabout, but got it in the spoolie, was generous with it. Here it is. And got it, you know, got the brows brushed up, and then, you know, all the mayhem that ensued after the fact kind of took the brows from being straight up, diagonal, back to, you know, regular old brows. So, you know, when I see people do their brows before they do their makeup, I marvel at it, because I'm like, well, how do you keep from getting concealer in your brows? How do you keep from getting, you know, just even simple friction rubbing into your brows? Believe me, I pushed them down and laminated them, and then they went right back to normal. The only thing that seems to work for me better without being a lot of gloppy product, that this gel does this too, when it's wet, it kind of lifts and moves my foundation around, and I don't know. The next thing I'm gonna try, because Daisy Cash on YouTube said that she puts hairspray in her brows, right? So I get this kind of like white cast above, and then my lift gets gone as soon as I use my finger to clean my skin off. That's better than it was, but will it last? That's the question. I keep putting water in it to reactivate the product, right? And then maybe use my finger to laminate as it moves all the complexion products above my brows around. You know, but I tried it, right? This was me trying the whole gel, and it's not the gel that is recommended. They recommend the spiking gel. This is the styling gel. So we'll try that next, but we certainly have a lot of hairspray around. I wonder if we can use the other end of this brush and a little water to try to tidy up the edge of this liner. Famous last experiments. Right? Is that better, worse, or the same? Other side. Better, worse, or the same? We could use micellar water, it's true. But I don't hate this. I'm looking directly into the mirror and seeing how pretty the inner corner of the shadow is with a much more discreet use of the shimmer. I feel like we did something here. Do we need more concealer under our eyes? Doesn't really look like we do, right? We used one concealer color. We could perhaps go in with a little bit of the Becca if we could find it. I saw it, and now, oh, here it is. Right, if we do a little tiny smidgen of the Becca, what shade is this? Banana. Just on the tip of our finger, right? Can we even get our little finger in our corner now that we have these extraordinary nails on? And the nails are hanging on. But, you know, we've gotten into this exciting place with nails and eyeshadow. We're not really doing mascara and fake, not really doing mascara and a lot of false lashes. So we're going to take it off our finger and get it onto this brush and just look right there, right underneath where we have kind of a bit of a shadow, and just tap that in with this precision smudger from Zoeva just to give us a little bit more brightness. We haven't had a ton of fallout, but just to take away any hint of darkness and shadow, anything left over, just getting it around the nose. I feel like our highlight and contour game has worked out just fine, right? And if we sit back from the camera and turn the light on, right? Do we need to be closer to the light? Take away some of the light? The helicopter outside. But I feel like we've done an able job and made an interesting eyeshadow look. It's always interesting to me to see how differently the blend comes out on different sides of my face. But I'm not mad, and now I know what that orange, that burnt orange liquid shadow can do. I am duly impressed. I feel like I got hold of a treasure. I'm going to encourage you to get your hands on anything you can from the Doja Cat collection. I got a few of these liquid shadow, liquid liner products. I got one Prism Champagne highlighter that I tried the other day. I'm kind of loving it. Kind of. And I just feel like it's super pretty. And it kind of is its own version of the colors that are on my nails, right? If this is the kind of like bright orange yellow with some gold, then I see gold, I see orange, tones of orange. We see this cheek color marrying in with our skin, right? And if we use our hands just to block out some of the light from the window, I think you can see a little bit more of the intentionality with this makeup look, right? I feel like I want to eat a burger and have a coffee, but this top is actually a camisole that I did get in my thrift haul, new with tags, and it's such a pretty like mango pumpkin color. Maybe I'll work on that next. We're 40 minutes in. Anything else I need to do? We've got our earrings on. We've got a couple of rings on, and then one kind of bracelet, but in truth, it's an earring that I don't have the companion to. So, we try to reduce, reuse, recycle. We're trying to use all the items in our stash. We're trying to learn about it. If it doesn't work out, we're going to try to put it outside for our neighbors. We have kind of a free area where, if we get a new something or replace something or people are just moving, I've gotten a television and a Javalia coffee maker, and I've definitely put out some, artificial plants and different furniture that I felt like I needed the room more than I needed the furniture. But yeah, that's what's up. I'm not mad at this makeup look at all, right? Just looking at it in different light with my mirror. What an exciting, unexpected liquid shadow. I don't know if I would want that much liquid shimmer on my eye. I like the tones of shadow that I put on, and I like the emphasis to the cheek and the sharpening of the jaw and the lift of the brows, such as it is. It doesn't stay the way I lay it. And that's a continuing source of frustration, but this looks great. If I were headed out to an event, I would feel like I did something cool on my eyes without just going black, black, black. I get nervous when I see people laying down a big arc of black and then using all different chemicals to clean it off and then draw in this shape and that shape. Maybe I'll get there. Maybe this burnt orange is my first taste of graphic liner. I do have ambition to do that kind of pride rainbow in the inner corner technique. There's a few more things I want to try, but first blush, first impression with this palette, with this liquid shadow, I'm kind of in love. What do you think? Right? I think this looks cool. I think it looks cool with the color of this camisole, with the gold, with the, just the responsible level of shimmer, right? I'm not upset with how this looks. These nails may be too much. And I do have another set at the ready, but I feel like I'm getting my, $4 worth. And I do have extras of these nails. We'll just see which ones manage to pop off without breaking. I did break this one, and I also broke this one. But, at a distance, it looks fine. I certainly didn't have to risk my life in a salon or drop $100 to get them done. But as much as I've educated myself about real acrylics and lash extensions, I feel like it's healthier for me not to have that. I can deal with glue. I can deal with polish. I polished my toenails. I forgot to talk about it. It's a Marc Jacobs gunmetal kind of silver gray, and it's just so nice. I'd had a silver polish on my toenails that looked cheap. It didn't look like molten metal. It looked like very small glitter, and it didn't look very sophisticated, and I let it grow out. But I'm being conservative about how many times I'm putting acetone on my nails and on my skin. Even with this kind of clean girl hairdo, right? I've put my hair into place. I've applied some of my favorite Old Spice low shine, either pomade, fiber wax, styling gel. I have a series of products, but they're alcohol free, and I've used an edge brush to brush that in and kind of neaten things up, right? And it does have hold, and it doesn't look shiny or feel crispy. It's very flexible when you wet it. Mixed race hair is all about the spray bottle. I'll do a separate video about that. But I don't really feel like there's a need to make a triangle and a ponytail and then pull it tight at the top. It would change the direction of my hair. This looks a little Martha Washington or like George, what was it, Abraham Lincoln's wife. But you don't want to have all that tension in your hair, right? You don't want to constantly like pull tight. And I get it when people call it a slick back. Your hair can be neat and it can be tucked away, but there's give, right? There's not tension on every single one of your hairs, because that's not good for your hair. I mean, I'm seeing incredibly young women on TikTok and also on YouTube, and their hairlines are escaping. All this glue, all this pulling tight, all this hair dryer, and, you know, thing covering things up so that they can't breathe for as long as the wigs are installed. I mean, I work on set constantly. I work several days in the same hair. I've gone to set on the Lakers project, which is called Showtime. They covered my hair entirely with a wig, and I was doing a dance scene that was, some people were, you know, not wearing a lot or any clothes, right? But it was very active, and it was 1,000 hairpins and not even the tight bobby pins. It was a strategic installation of wig cap and pins. There was no glue, there was no hair dryer that came into play. It was strictly a pin situation, and then you take the pins out and you're on your way. And without your hair having to be punished, treated with chemicals, or, you know, I don't know. I have a sense, and this is just my theory, just from having worn wigs on set, had them professionally installed and professionally removed, that there's not a lot of respect for hair and skin. And your hair and your skin, you know, have value beyond the look of a particular wig or the look of a particular install or makeup. Maybe I'm a naysayer, but, you know, I feel like the long-term impact, even as a regular bun wearer, as a law enforcement actor, it still doesn't require, your hair needs to look neat. It doesn't need to be pulled out of your scalp. Depending on who you get doing your hair, you know, I feel like some of the best hairdressers were on Scandal, Kerry Washington's show for Shonda, and they were so gentle. Your hair was going to be small and compact, but it was dressed. And they weren't going to pull and yank and put 1,000 chemicals in your hair. The most respectful Hollywood hairdressers will ask for your permission to add any product to your hair. You know, the most disrespectful thing that some hairdressers do, you know, to me, is using bobby pins that don't have the protective ends on them, because they're cheaper. And they put 1,000 of them, not even necessarily near your scalp, but you figure it out once you're at home pulling them out. They go right in the trash. Or you can save them and, like, do things like connect to wires, or, you know, like, you can use them in the garden, but the sharpness, it's going to damage your hair, it's going to damage your scalp, and at the end of the day, none of these cosmetics or chemicals or even jewelry or nail treatments should damage lashes, nails, hair follicles, right? All the weight of all these extensions, all the weight of these heavy, heavy ponytails. It's fine if it's for temporary in a performance or a trip to the club or vacation, but I think the impact is real. And, you know, certainly when I was in Harlem on a daily basis, I saw a lot of, you know, really negative impact at the wig store. You can cover it up, you can hide it, but the damage wasn't, I feel, necessary, whether it was chemical relaxers or chemical color. There's other options out there. We'll get into it. But in any case, I should eat and stop babbling. This is my makeup look. I hope you can see it. I hope you can appreciate the effort that I have made to explore these products for you. You know, the skincare, the skin, the glowy base, no powder, a little bit of concealer on top, a lifted eyeshadow shape, a lifted contour and blush shape, a sculpted jaw. Get into it. I suggest, you know, any of these products I've tried today, I was extremely happy with. And, you know, I just want to get into more. I want to be very literate when it comes to makeup collection, and I want to be able to guide you into, you know, the right affordable products that you can use to achieve this look or similar, or how to, you know, construct an eyeshadow look that works for your eye shape, right? If I had angled my shadow up toward my actual brow tail, then I would have lost the opportunity to extend the appearance of my eye, right? keeping things too narrow doesn't help me, you know, I like a bigger eye. I like taking real estate from over here because my hood takes real estate away from me being able to play with eyeshadow. In any case, this is me signing off Memorial Day 2022. I hope you've enjoyed this live. It has been surprisingly stable, and I've been, you know, going through it with my phone and my lives lately. But I invite you to, you know, comment below, ask me any questions, make me any requests, and, you know, feel free to look me up, House of Tanya, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Christian Mingle. No, I'm kidding. And Facebook, a few other places, but, you know, maybe even Depop and places like that. But thank you for joining me, and I feel like I love this base routine. You might see it a few more times from me. And I will see you soon for another episode of Camera Ready, where we experiment with makeup looks that can work for small camera, big camera, film camera, you know, red camera, blue camera. And I will see you on the next episode with hopefully a different set of nails. See you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.